If you worked in restaurants like me, you already know how incredibly crazy and stressful the entire environment is. Look, the customers are insanely disrespectful. The schedule is all over the place, and the workplace environment can be literally so toxic it makes you question your entire life choices. I'm not even being dramatic when I say this, but it really does feel like you're living life on hard mode. If you know, you know. I have worked in restaurants over a span of 16 years in literally all front of house positions: hostess, bartender, server, runner, kitchen expediter, and manager. Believe me when I tell you, it is one of the most insanely stressful environments that you could put yourself in to make a living. Sometimes you feel like you don't even make ends meet. Sometimes you feel like your workplace is incredibly toxic and there's no way out of it. Sometimes you choose the devil nut, because it's easier than switching up and going to another place that could be equally as bad, maybe worse, but you don't know until you find out and you get in. I'm gonna tell you this, it is one of the most stressful environments that you could put yourself in. It is a breeding ground for substance abuse, and that is why the culture is rampant with substance abuse. I would know because I was doing it and I've seen it firsthand. I've witnessed it. I have seen way more than I like to talk about because it is wildly triggering, and we're not going to get into that today. But what you do need to understand is that if you do find yourself in that type of environment, if you work in restaurants and hospitality and you do want to either try to quit smoking and drinking and doing drugs, or you're just, you need to scale back, understand this. Your environment is really taking a toll on you more than everybody else. You are living life on hard mode. It is affecting your mental health and your nervous system and your well-being all around. And because you need that literally to make money, it feels like it is impossible for you to get away because you don't have any other areas to go to, and maybe that is all of your skill set and you feel trapped. I get it. So I talk about this in my 7-day reset for sobriety, but environment is the key to changing up your behaviors, your habits, your triggers, and what you're used to, and therefore changing the way that you react to things, and therefore changing the way that you go about your life, because your environment can really make or break your situation. Now, if you work in restaurants and hospitality and you don't have a way out, what you have to do is remove yourself from that workplace and from those people as much as humanly possible. This means not going out after work. This means setting boundaries with people while you're at work and during your shift. This means finding other things to do or the right people to do them with after your shift. You can't go out with everyone. You can't get drinks with everyone. If you see them drinking on the job, you got to turn the cheek and look the other way. If you see them doing drugs and doing coke on the job, you got to just walk away from it and not say anything and mind your business. That is how you get through the shift. That is how I have gotten through the shift when I started my sobriety journey, and I realized that it's literally the fabric of the culture. It's because we're all stressed out and we're all trauma binding. We're all stressed out and we're all trauma binding, and that is the way that we regulate ourselves, we regulate our emotions, and that is the way we cope with such an insanely stressful environment. We all do drugs and drink and do alcohol. Like, it's so toxic and bad for you. And if you feel like that's the only thing around you, then you don't see a way out. If you feel like those are all of your friends, your coworker friends, your drinking buddies, then you can't see a way of having another social life. And if you do have friends who have regular jobs, like 9-to-5 jobs, like normal average people, it's kind of impossible to hang out with them because your schedule is so wild and unpredictable and all over the place. It feels hard to link up. So what you can do is this. You have to remove yourself from the people around you. You have to get new friends. You have to set boundaries with the current friends that you have. Okay? Mind your business. Look the other way. When you see people doing the things that you used to do, you can't do those things anymore. So you look the other way and you do something different. Say no. Say that you're not drinking. Say that you're not going out. Say that you're going straight home. Maybe find somewhere else to do. Maybe go for a longer walk on your way home. Maybe go for a longer drive on your way home instead of going straight to the bar, straight to the places that you guys usually go to. Do your best to just go anywhere else except for there. If the routine that you are used to is getting off of work, hanging out a little bit, and then going home, find something to do by yourself just for a little bit before you go home. That is the habit loop that you are on. It's insanely hard to break that habit loop because when you go home, you're just going to get bored and you need something to de-stress and regulate. So what I would do I would just go for a longer walk. Living in Boston, living in New York is more of a pedestrian friendly environment. So what I would do is just go for a longer walk home. What I would do is listen to music. What I would do is go for a longer walk, listen to music, call one of my family members who actually is not with us anymore, my aunt. I would talk to my aunt or my cousin after work, because that was the best way for me to feel like I could connect with someone without having to connect with the toxic coworkers and work friends that I would be hanging around most of the time. Some other alternatives that you could do besides going out after work to drink with your coworker, drinking buddy friends, listen to a podcast, listen to some music, read, maybe go straight home and then find something entertaining to watch, something on YouTube, something on the internet, something on TV, literally anything and everything that you can think of that does not involve hanging out with crazy toxic people who are all ranting and talking about the same thing, which is only going to reactivate your stress hormones and keep your cortisol so fucking high that you can't even think straight. Because you guys are all bitching about the same thing when you get off of work. You're all complaining about the same boss. You're all complaining about the same coworkers. Everyone's ranting about their sections and the people at the host stand. And, everyone is ranting and complaining about the same thing over and over and over again. And honestly, that's not going to do you any good, especially if you're trying to quit drinking and smoking and doing drugs. You have to break the habit loop and the pattern and the habit loop that you are stuck in. I'm telling you from firsthand experience, is going out with those people and bitching and complaining about the same fucking thing over and over and over again. And it's going to be 10 times harder, because that's how you make your money. So what you need to do is remove yourself from that. Go somewhere else after work, do something else with yourself, by yourself if you need to. It is going to be fucking hard, but I promise you it's possible. And over time, you just find new things and new activities and maybe a new job, and you lose all those friends who you thought were really your friends, but they're actually your drinking buddies, because they're no good for you, and they're going to see that you're doing better with your life, and instead of being inspired and taking action for their own journeys, they're going to continue doing the same things, and they're going to hate on you and get mad at you for trying to better yourself. And then you guys are just going to go on your separate ways and your separate journeys in life. And that is okay, because that's only making space for newer people to be in your social circle, the ones who are long-term healthy people to be around. I promise you, I'm speaking from experience. It is possible. It fucking sucks, but you can do it. Okay? Okay, great.